Oh, okay. All right, folks, we got to get this out of the way. I've been running around like a duck with its head cut off. Because I have just been very busy today. I did not have time to eat lunch, so folks, I'm going to have to eat this soup in front of you. What was that? No, we're not going to warm it up. We are just going to, eat it as is, okay? Thank you all for showing up. Very good. Okay. Wow. Well, look who made it to class today. Wow. Good job, guys. Very good. Very good. Give yourself a round of applause. That's right. Yep. We're going to go ahead and jump right in. Welcome back to class. As you can see, we have gotten the classroom that I wanted. Finally. Finally. Okay, there we go. Now, I hope you can hear me okay. Okay, can you hear me? Listen up. Right, as per usual. So, today, we are in our part 2 of night index, right? So, I don't know if you all remember exactly where we were last time in class, but last time in class we were, go ahead, someone tell me. Oh, look like you're going to say something, sorry. Anybody know? Nobody remembers, okay. Wonderful, that's okay. Let me refresh your memory. So, where were we in the film script the last time we did class? Well, I'll tell you, we were in Christian Abai's room, okay? The World War I veteran, okay? And Dennis, our main character, was sitting down having a nice little chat with Dennis, okay? With Christian, excuse me. So, Christian and Dennis, they're both men. They're both men, right? One is more naive, younger. One is old and has really been through quite a bit. Went through World War I. That's quite a feat. Quite a feat. So, here we go. Make sure you guys can hear this okay. There we go. Okay. There we go. We're going to have to really make sure that you're listening because this is a very important class today. Very, very important. Let's see. I have problems with these little mics, They make them so that you can put them, and be hands-free, but it doesn't really match up with the volume. So maybe we turn up the volume, keep it right here. Okay, so here we go. Calm down, honey. Okay, yep. So, night index, right? We'll just jump right into it. Dennis is with Christian in the room, and Christian is telling him about the war and some, laying some wisdom onto him, laying some philosophy onto Dennis. Because Dennis is a cherry old boy. He don't know nothing. He don't know nothing. Okay? He's a security guard, right? Security guard. It's your average minimum wage job. It's okay. We can say these kinds of things in a nice, prestigious place like this, right? So, here's what we got today. Entrance into Christian's room. 1982, remember folks, this is 1982. So, always keep that in mind when we're going over this specific script because the time period is so very, very, very important. Not only to the dialogue, but to the scenery and to the symbolism. Okay? It's on the syllabus. Okay, I just threw that one in there for you guys. So, we are in Christian's room, and the door remains half open, and the young nurse's footsteps fade down the hallway, and rain taps against the window. Right? Imagine it's rain. Actually, here, we got a window over here. Let's see if we can get it. I'll get it for you. But the rain is tapping against the window. Kind of like that. You know, it's a slow tap rain. So, okay? And that's what is going on in the scene with the window and everything. Now, Christian is sitting there and he's eating slowly. Because if you remember, the nurse had just come in and interrupted their conversation, bringing Mr. Abai his dinner. Okay, because it was din time, or lunchtime rather. And so Dennis stands near the doorway, thoughtful. He's still there. So Christian kind of intercedes. The nurse gave Christian his food, and she ran away. And now Christian's there. That girl's got a good way about her. Dennis says, seems like it. Seems like it. Christian chews quietly, and then he sets his fork down. You know, you strike me as a fellow with questions. And Dennis, maybe. Christian nods slowly. Then I'll tell you what I learned, if it's any use. I'm not doing a very good old man voice here, guys. Forgive me. I'm not, I'll try a little better here. Let's see. And so he continues. First thing a man must insist upon in life is learning. And learning means looking back, not just at the good parts, but at the hard ones. You must ask yourself what sort of thinking leads men into war. How whole nations march off to kill boys they've never met. I saw the first of those wars with my own eyes. France, mud to the knees, cold mornings, young men believing the world would be a better once the shooting stopped. And yet, by and by, men found their way right back to the same foolishment. Why do we keep doing that? Dennis replies. Because men forget pain quicker than they remember kindness. Christian then pulls out a cigarette, lights it. Smoke drifts beneath the fluorescent lights. Look honest at the suffering. Broken families, mothers buying sons. If you don't remember that, you repeat it. Families matter. Brothers, sisters, treating people decent, understanding your nation instead of shouting at it. If you want a life worth living, do something for someone else now and then. Without counting what you'll get back. Christian takes another drag of the cigarette. If you want... oh wait, no, he says it, sorry. That's the long and short of it. Suddenly, a loud, metallic clatter from the hallway. And a woman goes, ah! Christian chuckles. he looks stern, right? He looks stern right after he says this. Looks right at Dennis and says, "What the hell are you waiting for? Christmas? Go help them." And Dennis, like a little boy, obediently rushes out because he respects his elders. Great little scene here. And so Dennis runs out, right? And he goes to see what the hell happened in the hallway over there. So enter into the north hallway. The nurse, again, that young, beautiful nurse, right? She kneels beside a spilled tray. Peas and mashed potatoes scattered everywhere. A mess. And Dennis, goes up to her. "Are you all right?" And she says, "You again. I swear these trays have a mind of their own." Dennis says, "Let me help where I can." "Well, if you insist, grab me a plate of peas from the kitchen. Just tell Mary you're grabbing them for me, Michelle. Otherwise, she'll get suspicious." Dennis nods and heads down the hallway. Enter into the scene down the hallway. Now, Dennis knows exactly where the kitchen is because he's seen it a million times on his shift, right? As a security guard with the flashlight, and he knows the layout of the building. He knows where the kitchen is already. So that really sets him up for victory there, for success. In succession. Here we go. So he goes into the kitchen, right? And the kitchen is filled with cigarette smoke. He's never seen it like this before. The kitchen is, operational. It's clean. There's no spiderwebs, no dust. It's like pristine. Right? He's never seen it like that before. It's always looked like a haunted, haunted kitchen. Something you'd see in Friday the 13th or something like that. And so, the kitchen is filled with cigarette smoke. And then Mary, we're introduced to Mary. Mary's about 57 years old. God bless her soul. She's got a lot of wrinkles. She's washing dishes while stirring the food on the stove. She's kind of multitasking. Here and then here, right? Making the food. She would be cooking that kind of soup, by the way. Now, she's multitasking, right? This is a key detail. She's got a cigarette hanging out of her mouth. That's why the whole kitchen's filled with smoke. And she looks right at Dennis. She blows smoke right in his face. "Who the hell are you?" And Dennis just kind of, could I get a plate of peas for one of the nurses? Michelle? She dropped another plate. That's the second one today. She points to the counter, kind of lazy. "Here, sweetheart. Just hurry up. I'm busy." So Dennis grabs the peas and he exits out of the kitchen. Everybody out of the kitchen. And so he goes back into the hallway, right? And Dennis returns with the peas and gives them to Michelle. "Here you go." And she says, "Thank you." And she wipes water from the carpet. She's still cleaning up the mess and everything that's spilled. She says, "Could you grab a milk carton too? It's spilled everywhere. Oh my goodness, what a mess." "I'll be right back," Dennis says. So there goes Dennis, down the hallway again, going back to the kitchen. There's obviously not a pattern here. Okay. So he enters the kitchen again. And there's Mary. "Now what do you want?" She's even more, disturbed because she's a busy woman. She's got a lot of people to feed, a lot of stuff to clean, and she doesn't have a lot of room in this kitchen for two, 3, 4 people. So she's, flustered. And so Dennis walks in and he says, "Michelle needs a milk carton. The first one's spilled." security too? She shoves a milk carton into his hands kind of forcefully. Here, now get out of here. I'm very busy. You know. Enter back into the hallway. Dennis is going back down the hallway with the milk carton, right? And he doesn't see Michelle where she was. But then he remembers that Michelle said something about going to room 212 to see Mr. Callahan, which was in the script. I don't know why that got cut out. It's so stupid. You know, little details like that really matter, and they get cut out of the transcripts sometimes. But anyway, somewhere when she spills the milk and the peas and the potatoes and all of that, what happens is she's talking about how she was heading to room 212 to go serve another client by the name of Mr. Callahan. But for whatever reason, the script cut that part out. So I apologize, folks. But that's what's going on. So that's why Dennis is going down the hallway, notices Michelle's not there where the mess was. And so therefore, I'm just going to put this collar up. And therefore, he knew exactly where room 212 that Michelle would be. In the room, so Dennis enters into the, he's walking towards the room. Right here, he hands Michelle the milk. And she says, "Thank you." And she places it on Mr. Callahan's tray. "Anything else, Mr. Callahan?" And enter, into the character circle here, Mr. Callahan. And now Callahan is an older gentleman. He's probably a little older than, well, actually, he might be around the same age as Mr. Abai, but he's not as healthy looking. He's pretty frail, and he's on his last, he's on his last legs. And so what happens is, what we're going to see objectively is two different philosophies kind of colliding, but also kind of creating this yin and yang type deal. We'll get into that later, though. So right now, Callahan jumps in. "Never seen you before. You the nurse's aide?" He says, Dennis says something like that. "Name's Callahan. Used to run the biggest boating outfit of the Columbia. Made a pile of money, lost most of it too. 3 wives, 3 divorces, worth it. Now marry that cook down there. Makes the best damn meatloaf in Oregon. If she were 20 years younger, I'd have married her." He's chewing his food, right? Oh, here, I can do that in live action for you. "So, Sonny, what you do for work?" "Security." "Well, security, huh? Let me give you some advice, kid. Life goes by quicker than you think. You spend too much time worrying about doing things the right way. You forget to enjoy the ride. Travel. Eat good food. Chase pretty women. Why, you still got the legs. Blink your eyes and suddenly you're sitting in a room like this, wondering where the hell the years went. So enjoy the ride while you got it." There you go, folks. Those are our 2 scenes. They were condensed a little bit. Some of the detail was left out. Apologize about that. But you get the general sense of what's going on. So, we're introduced to 3 new characters. We're introduced to 3 new characters. Because now the young, attractive nurse, who he asked what year it was earlier in the film, now has a name, right? And her name is Michelle. And then our second character was Mary, the cook, right? The disgruntled, chef of the retirement Centaur, Park Place Retirement Centaur. And then we are introduced to Mr. Callahan. And Mr. Callahan is very much that kind of, you know, go lucky, go free kind of guy. So, let me check our Zoom class here, folks. Hold on. Yeah. Okay, that's good. So, a couple things about this scene, right? We got a couple really good things about this scene. Is we're being thrown into the story now. We're starting to see that every person that Dennis meets is very impactful and very, very influential. Very influential. That's why Dennis is, you know, it's encouraging him to be this observer. Because not only is he in a strange time, in a strange circumstance, but he's, you know, in the vicinity of some very good wisdom. And so he's going to sit there and take everything in. He's going to sit there and walk around and listen to everyone that's around. Because he's very much an observer. He's very into surroundings. I mean, that's part of the reason why he's a security guard, right? He's always scanning his surroundings, always taking in everything. You know, and that's such a intentional move there. And so that's what he's doing. And he's just kind of not questioning anything, really. He's just in it for the experience. Okay, and that's what I was going to say. And half of it is, you know, I think when you're a security guard, folks, I'll tell you, it gets very, very boring. We're talking 12-hour shifts where nothing happens. And half of the time you're just sitting. Sitting in your car, sitting in a chair in front of a place, what will you, and then doing your perimeter walks and reporting every, you know, hour what happened. And nothing really ever happens, you know. You might write, okay, 12 a.m. some leaves from a tree fell down, you know, in the back of the building. It's just a very mundane, boring job, I'll tell you what. Very, very boring. And so that's even more reason why I think Dennis isn't going to question what's going on. He's just going to roll with it, you know. It's strange, and he's totally enthralled and wants to jump right into this strange phenomenon or strange world that's happening, right? So let's continue to break down some of these scenes. Let me check my Zoomers here.